What is going on, YouTube? JB back here today with a draft analysis for my PBL Season 3 team. The PBL, or Professional Battle League, rather, is a 3DS based draft league that I was able to join last minute. And by last minute, I mean I didn't even join until 5 of my picks had been made for me because the guy dropped out. So, a couple shout outs I want to give. First off, I want to give a big shout out to my boy Austin, aka Garchomp the God. He gave me the spot. He's like, yo, this dude dropped out. You want to be in the league? I'm like, yeah, sure. And another huge shout out to Austin. He actually let me drop one of this dude's terrible picks to get a different mon in OU. So, shout out to him for that. And also shout out to Vet Trainer John. His link will also be in the description. He is the owner slash boss slash commissioner, whatever you want to call it, of the league. So shout out to him for running the league. And before we get into my team again, let's go over a couple of the rules for the draft. The only things that really need to be said, other than just rules in general, like how the draft is going to go. The banned Pokemon were Battle Bond and Protean Greninja. I assume Torrent was allowed, and McGearna was banned. Pretty much everything else is fair game, I believe. The Omni boosting moves, such as Z Happy Hour and Celebrate, are banned. Mew's Genesis Supernova was also banned, which is perfectly understandable. And then just your standard Smogon clauses of Sleep, Evasion, and okay. Baton Pass is legal, but you're only allowed to Baton Pass one stat, so and only one Baton Pass user, so just standard, balanced Baton Pass rules. Megas must evolve turn 1, so no Mega Sharpedo speed boost, no Slowbro regen boost. Don't necessarily agree with that one because I don't think you should punish people for making a correct play, but that's just me, it's not my league. And the last one is 3 Z captains per team, and your Z captains have to be UU and below, so none of your OU mons can hold a Z crystal, which again, it's not my league, so it's not my place to speak on it. Anyway, now that we've got all the rules out of the way, we can move on to my actual team. So let's we'll start with OU, obviously, because that was the first tier picked. I did not make any of my first 5 picks. I was able to switch one of them, but I was happy with my first 2 picks this guy made. He had the first overall pick in the draft, so I actually think he kind of reached for the first pick. With the first overall pick of the draft, I feel like he reached a little bit for Dragonite. Now I love Dragonite. You guys have seen, if you guys have seen my Razor World Draft League, that was the first draft league I competed in. I had a Dragonite on that team, and it was my MVP of that league, in my personal opinion. So Dragonite is, it's a Pokemon I'm very, very, very comfortable with, and I am, very grateful to have on my team. But I feel like it's a little bit limited since I can't use the moves, but then again, it's still Dragonite, and it's still a monster with incredible coverage and incredible stats. With it's got good bulk, it's got insane attack and special attack. It's Dragonite. It's like I said, it's a Pokemon I'm very, very comfortable with, and I was happy to see that he took that. But like I said, I feel like he reached just a tad bit for it. So it's not the end of the world that the first overall pick was a Dragonite. But I mean, for me, I'm in love with it because it's like I said, a Pokemon I am extremely comfortable with. Next up, this guy took this made me so happy to see this. You guys have no idea. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh hell yeah, give me this man's spot. With his second OU pick, this boy took Taimora. This boy took Jirachi, so I get to use Jirachi in 2 leagues simultaneously. Oh man, am I excited about this. If you want to hear me talk more about Jirachi, you can go watch our PASL draft review video. But I mean, it's Jirachi. It gets Serene Grace with incredible move pool. Again, a little hindered by the fact that it can't use a Z move, but it's also fine. You know, it still gets things like access to Choice Scarf, and it still can, you know, run bulky sets with like Stealth Rock and whatever else you would want to run on it. Gets cool things like Power Up Punch if you're an idiot, which I of course am. And then of course, you know, Flint shenanigans with Iron Head, Body Slam if you don't want to go that route. And yeah, it's Jirachi. It was my first overall pick, well, 10th overall technically, but it was my first pick for the PASL. It's a Pokemon that I am incredibly comfortable with as well. Now moving on to the third OU pick that this guy made. Originally, it was Mega Latios, and I'm like, yo, why did this man take Mega Latios over Latios? Mega Latios are not good. The Latios with items are just better. So I was able to finagle my way into being able to drop that pick for taking over last minute. Austin was like, yo, you're taking over last minute, I'll let you get rid of that pick because it's just bad. He let me drop Mega Latios, and I picked up Manaphy. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I got sick of being in draft leagues where Manaphy went undrafted. This thing is an absolute savage. And plus it's just a bulky water, which I needed at the time because his UU draft was terrible. Well, his first two were. Again, he really reached for one. That pissed me off so bad, and then the second one is just utter dog trash. But we'll get to those. We'll get to them. But coming back to Manaphy, obviously Tail Glow is a thing that I can abuse at any time, I feel like. Base 100s across the board, of course. So I have 2 base 100 mods, which is, I think, a little bit broken, but hey, there wasn't a rule against it, so I'm gonna take them. But yeah, Tail Glow, Scald, Ice Beam, Energy Ball, Grass Knot, Dazzling Gleam, whatever. It even has access to knockoff. Hidden Powers, of course, a thing. Unfortunately, I cannot run Z Rain Dance, like I said. I can run Damp Rock Rain Dance, which will come into play later. A little bit, sort of. It'd come into play more if I didn't despise if I didn't despise a Pokemon that this guy took. Like, I cannot stand this Pokemon. I think it is the... man. But Manaphy is adorable. I got sick of seeing it not drafted in the leagues that I'm in, and I am ready to take souls with this adorable little blue thing. Now, moving on to UU. Again, I did not make this pick for myself either, and that was Togekiss. Now, I would have been perfectly fine had he taken Togekiss later in the draft. Like, that would have been fine. If that would have been his second UU pick, that's fine. But as the first UU pick, let's just look at some of the things that he passed on. Terrakion, Serena, Infernape, Hydreigon, Crocodile, Arcanine, Tornadus, Alola Ninetales, Mamoswine, Tentacruel, Gliscor. Most notably, we allowed a guy to get this is someone's UU tier picks. Volcanion, Infernape, Hydreigon were all on one team, and I had a guy reach for Togekiss with his first UU pick. Now, okay, so first, granted he did have the 10th pick, but still, he allowed, you know, Hydreigon and Infernape. Most importantly, Infernape. I am pissed off that Infernape is not on this team, because I would have picked it immediately if it were me. First off, I wouldn't have picked Dragonite first overall, and I probably would have taken Jirachi. I probably wouldn't have taken Manaphy either, but I would have had a bigger plan. But you know, that's what happens when you pick up a team halfway through a draft. It's fine. I'm just really pissed off that a guy was able to pick up 3 mons that I would have taken in UU. While I'm stuck with, you know, Togekiss and my other... Well, I did get to make my third UU pick down. I was in charge of the draft, but anyway, let's just like I said, Togekiss is a fine Pokemon. It's really good. It's the only it's a good fairy. So he wasn't actually able to grab Sylveon or Primarina because Austin took Primarina, unfortunately. But and Sylveon went 2 picks before him. If he would have taken Sylveon, I would have loved him. I would have been happy. But you know, Sylveon got sniped. Hope maybe he was planning that. I don't know. We'll see. But we won't see. It doesn't matter. But yeah, Togekiss. Let's talk about Togekiss. It's a good mon. It's a little bit of a reach. It has okay bulk. I mean, it has massive SPDF, massive defense, solid HP, only base 85, and base 80 speed is pretty damn slow, but I don't think it really matters. The thing is, aside from like Heal Bell and Encore, this thing doesn't get a whole lot of like support moves. Like, it has the stats of a support mon, but it doesn't get great support moves. It does get Wish, so maybe I'm a little bit talking out of turn. I don't have much experience with Togekiss, so if I speak, if I say something that's just completely stupid, call me on it, because one little scroll down and I realize this thing does have some decent support moves in terms of, you know, like I said, Wish. It gets Roost. Obviously, you know, it gets Nasty Plot, Air Slash, Serene shenanigans, which is, you know, fine. It gets Aura Sphere, which is a good move to have, just to hit things that, I don't know. It's always just nice to have a move like that. It also gets Extreme Speed, but unfortunately its attack is dog crap. If they reverse its attack and speed, oh my god, Togekiss would be broken. Gets access to Defog, which is fine. It gets Heal Bell. Like I said, Heal Bell, Encore, Wish, so it does get some decent support moves. I mean, Wish is a fantastic move. It has so many healing options. Morning Sun, Soft Boiled, Roost. Gets Tailwind support, Thunder Wave as well. So maybe, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I just feel like, you know, as a first pick in UU, it was a little bit of a reach, especially like I said when I got Volcanion, Infernape, and Hydreigon picking in the middle of the pack. That pisses me off that he was able to get that powerful of a draft, and let's just move on to the elephant in the room, and it's not even an elephant. It's Xurkitree. I despise this Pokemon. It is the definition of a one-trick pony. Especially considering I can't, you know, its only good set usually is Scarf or Specs, because normally you run it on a Rain team. And since I can't run Z Rain Dance Manaphy, I have to run Z Rain Dance Xurkitree to make it effective. But since it's so damn slow and so damn frail, its massive special attack is utterly useless to me. Completely and totally useless, because it has to set up for itself. The strength of Xurkitree is that it's fantastic when it has Pokemon that can set up for it. Granted, I could have, you know, taken a Pokemon like Politoed later in the draft, but Manaphy is superior in every single way, other than Drizzle. And I'm not gonna draft a Pokemon in U to make one of my UU picks viable. That's silly. Xurkitree is a good mon, like I said, when it has the ability to have its teammates set up for it, and it can come in and clean up. The way this guy drafted, it couldn't do that at all. So I am going to be dropping this as soon as I can. I'm not gonna say, just in case anyone in the league watches this and decides to snipe my drop. I am planning on dropping this. I have to bring it, or I have to keep it through my first week, through my first battle, because you know, you just have to keep the team you drafted for a week at least, which is fine. But yeah, Xurkitree is not good, especially with the rule set of this league. If I could run Z Rain Dance Manaphy, I might keep it, but as soon as I learned that I couldn't, you know, use Z Crystals on my OU mons, this just became even a worse of a pick. So Not a fan of circuitry. Like I said, over and over again, unless its team can set up for it. Alright, now moving on to my third and final UU pick, and this is also the point in the draft where I took over. And from here on out, all the picks are made by me. So I had to do a little bit of recovering from a not so good start. Like I said, let me just remind you that a guy got Volcanion, Infernape, and Hydreigon, picking dead middle of the pack. Just saying. And you know, I'm just gonna read off a few other people's UU drafts that are just extremely powerful. Someone has the core of Sylveon, Starmie, Lucario. Austin's is Primarina, Terrakion, Heracross. Someone went full disgusting and got Klefki, Celebi, and Raikou. Yeah, like, people just have disgusting UU threats. Guy has Mega Beedrill, Crocodile, and Zydoge. Mega Arrow, Arcanine, what's this thing called? Oh god, my mind is literally blanking. What the hell is this thing called? It's too important to me to not look it up. Decidueye, Jesus Christ. It shows you how much I give a shit about Sun and Moon. No, guy got a disgusting core of Weavile, Alamomola, Amoonguss. Jesus Christ. Cobalion, Mamoswine, Tentacruel. I wish I would have been able to draft in UU. I wish I would have been able to draft in UU, because so many of these Pokemon. Oh man. Alright, anyway. I'll shut up, I'll quit complaining about it. My third and final UU pick, and the first pick I made, was, I was getting a bit of a weakness to electric. I needed a ground type. The only ground type available that I thought was good enough to draft in UU was Nidoqueen. So I took Nidoqueen because, you know, it gets Sheer Force, which is an amazing ability. It also gets, you know, access to T-Spikes and Stealth Rock, as well as, you know, ridiculous coverage with Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, and Fire Blast for that matter. It gets ridiculously good coverage is what I'm trying to say. Earthquake and Earth Power, obviously. It has access to really niche important moves like Roar, Taunt even. And like I said, it was a ground type. I needed a ground type. It's also a good answer to Fairies being a poison type as well. It makes my team a bit more weak to Psychic, as well as Ground, because I'm building up a bit of a Ground weakness. I did have 2 Resist at this point, and like I said, Circuitry is going to be gone as soon as it can be, so I'm okay with it. Nidoqueen, like, it's decently bulky. Not as bulky as you'd think. Base 90 HP, 85 defense, or 87 defense, 85 special defense. You know, its defenses leave a little to be desired. Its special attack is only base 75, but with Sheer Force it still hits like a truck, so I'm not too worried about that, honestly. But yeah, after I was able to, you know, pick up, you know, from this point, I was able to, you know, start building the team more around something I would like, and more around my play style. So, getting past Circuitry was tough for me. Like, I'm still pissed off that I just don't want to talk about it. But let's move on to greener pastures, I guess you could say, and that is the RU tier. I had the 10th pick in RU, so I had to wait a while. This draft is another thing. This draft took for fucking ever. There were a few Pokemon I considered taking, and I actually sort of regret taking my second RU pick, simply because I changed my mind about Rain as I was making this pick. So had I, you know, made up that decision earlier, this would have been a little different, but I still think it's a decent fit and can put in some decent work for me. But my first RU pick was Delmise. I've been wanting to use this thing for 2 leagues now, so I finally went and grabbed it. It's a really, really good spinner. it's also a spin blocker, being part ghost type, which I think is just ridiculously good. It gets a fantastic move. I forget what it's called. Anchor Shot, yeah. Anchor Shot is a fantastic move. It traps the opponent, and it hits so hard. This thing has base 131 attack, base 80 defense, or base 100 defense, base 90 special defense, 70 HP. This thing hits like a freaking truck, my friends, and it's pretty good. It's a good defensive mon. Gets, you know, like I said, Earthquake. Has access to a great move in Anchor Shot, Shadow Claw Stab, Power Whip Stab. Can Sword Stance if it wants to be an absolute savage. I could switcheroo something too, you know, be a little weird. But I really like this Pokemon. Like I said, I've been wanting to use it for a few leagues now. I wanted to take it in the first league we didn't do it. I thought about taking it into PASL, but decided to go with Bulu. That was a mistake. It also gets access to Earthquake, which is dope. But yeah, I'm very excited to use this thing, and I cannot wait to see it put in the finest of work. Steelwork is also a great ability. It basically just gives stab to steel type moves, even though it's not a steel type, which is just cool. So Anchor Shot's doing even more damage, coming off of a ridiculously high attack stat. So let's move on to my next pick, and that was Kingdra. Like I said, I still have a little bit of a rain option if I really want to do it, and I'm considering doing it. I mean, I may or may not bring it at some point. But Xurkitry's gone. Xurkitry is not staying on this team. I can still run Rain Dance on Manaphy with Damp Rock if I need to, and Kingdra can still, you know, do decent work. I have a pseudo Rain team. I have a pseudo Rain option if I want to, and you'll see later on I have like a couple more Pokemon that synergize rather well with Rain, but Kingdra on its own can put in work. It doesn't share. The only weakness it shares with Dragonite or, you know, Dragon and Fairy, obviously, but I have those weaknesses covered rather well, so I wasn't worried about taking Double Dragon. It gets access to Dragon Dance if it wants to be physical, Agility Focus Energy. It gets that set. It just gets really good moves to hit both physically and specially. It gets Iron-Headed Flash Cannon, Scald, and Waterfall. Let's see. I think it gets like, hold on, Ice Beam as well, obviously, and it gets something else really random that I want to point out. I forget what it was, but I wanted to point out something else that I got. If I remember it, I'll come back to it. Outrage, it gets, you know, just to hit ridiculously hard. Draco to counter that with special. So yeah, this thing can hit hard on either side. Specs, Scarf, whatever, it doesn't matter. It hits really hard. Now, moving on to my next and final RU pick, I decided to get an actually good electric type, and this is actually my first, or no, Kingdra is also a Z captain. I forgot. I made Kingdra Z captain over over Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen was the other thing I was considering for that third spot. But yeah, I went with Kingdra in the end as my third Z captain. But my second Z captain was Heliolisk, and I grabbed that with my third RU pick, which I'm pretty sure was the last RU pick, if I'm thinking correctly. No, it wasn't. It was the first of that round. So I wanted Jolteon. That got taken in the first round. Of course it did, because it's Jolteon. It got taken 2 picks before me, which was... Actually, no. I just completely passed on Jolteon because I'm an idiot. Oh well, I could have had Jolteon. But, you know, it's fine. Heliolisk is great. It gets dry skin, so it's a bit of a water immunity, which, again, coupled with Rain, if I want to bring that, is very nice. And it gets just fantastic move pool that I can abuse my Z Crystal with. Dragon Pulse, Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, Solar Beam. I'm pretty sure it gets Solar Beam. It does not get Solar Beam, but it gets a Grass Knot, which I don't think really works. Obviously Hyper Voice, so I can break some mechs and some blitzes. And it's just a fast electric. You guys know me. I really like having fast electrics on my team in Draft League. I think it's one of the most important things to have in a Draft League. And one that also offers me an immunity. What could be better? But, you know, Heliolisk, like I said, Z, Captain, one of them. 109 speed and special attack. Some decent special defense, low HP, but it's not living any physical hits. You're not bringing this thing in to be bulky. You're bringing this thing in to be fast and revenge kill. So, or switch it on a water type move. And moving on to my next pick, which begins the NU/PU portion of the show. I had the first pick in this round, and I took Hitmonlee. For it's another returning member of the Arkansas Articuno, one of two returning members of the Articuno. Obviously, you guys know what Hitmonlee does from watching my PASL videos. Reckless if you want to just do ridiculous damage, either Scarf or Band, and Unburden to abuse other people's Tapus. All 4 Tapus are allowed. Obviously, I'm not going to be stupid and bring it in on a freaking Tapu Lele. But the other 3, I can sort of, you know, abuse the terrains a little bit. I could actually abuse Psychic terrain pretty well because I have, you know, good answers to Lele and, you know, Dalmise and a couple other things. Lele's a monster. Jesus Christ, who allowed that? But yeah, I like, you know, Hitmonlee. Hopefully it'll put in a little bit more work than it has in the PASL so far. It's got a couple kills in the PASL. I don't want to diss it, but since I don't have to worry about, you know, coupling with my own Tapu, I think it's going to be able to put in a little bit more work in this league, so I'm excited to see it put in the work. Alright, next NU pick. I realized I didn't have a fire type because there were no good fire types left. God damn, I really wanted Infernape. Anyway. I took Houndoom because it offered me a fire immunity as well as a dark type, which is something else my team did not have at this point, so I thought it was better than Incineroar because it got the ability Flash Fire. I mean, Incineroar hits a little harder, but it's slower, and I don't think it has quite as good of a move pool, personally. So, I went with Houndoom. It's a good Pursuit Chapter. It's an underrated as hell Pursuit Chapter. It has base 90 attack. Base 110 special attack. It's pretty fast at base 95. Stab fire moves do ridiculous damage. Maybe should have thought about making this a Z Captain. Probably should have thought about making this a Z Captain over Kingdra, because I don't think Kingdra's going to do too much for me. But anyway, in terms of Z moves anyway. But I really like Houndoom. It's a little bit frail. It has decent special bulk actually, but its physical defense is trash and it has a lot of weaknesses. But I needed the fire type and I needed the dark type, so I decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and take Houndoom. He gets Sucker Punch, gets cool moves like Destiny Bond, as well as Hyper Voice. I think he gets Hyper Voice. It does get Hyper Voice. It gets Nasty Plot. So if I'm able to set up a Nasty Plot, this thing can actually put in some work. Gets Will-O-Wisp, so it's a decent move. It's a decent mon, gets some decent support moves, it's pretty fast, it can put in work. And with my last pick for the Season 3 of the PBL, I went ahead and grabbed Mesprit. This is a Pokemon I've been considering picking up in the PASL, but I haven't and I probably won't. And this thing is my 3rd and final Z Captain because it gets absurd amounts of coverage. Absolutely absurd amounts of coverage from Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Fire Punch, Grass Knot, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Knockoff, Psychic Stab, obviously, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Thunderbolt. It just gets so many good moves. I really like the trio. I forget what they're called, the Lake Trio. I don't know what they're called. But I really like this trio. They get ridiculously deep move pools and are able to put in so much work with Calm Mind sets if you want to go that route. They could be run physical or special because they have, like I said, ridiculous move pools. And picking this up with the last pick in the draft was pretty big for me. So I'm very excited to use Mesprit. And guys, that rounds out the Arkansas Articuno draft for the 3rd season of the PBL. A couple, you know, just round up things. Circuitry is gone. First chance I get for... I have him on in mind. I'm sort of rethinking it as I went through this video. I was sort of rethinking my decision for that Pokemon, but we'll see when we get there. I'm not sure when the draft or when the battles actually start. We haven't really discussed that. I think it's not gonna be a couple weeks. I'm going to try to do my best to get my DS to a point where I'm gonna be able to record this league. I might need to hit up Austin to see if he can record my first couple battles for me, or at least my first battle for me, if I need to. If I can't figure it out, I'll see if I can get him to do that for me. And yeah, guys, thank you for sticking around, watching this recap. A little more in depth than what I've made for the PASL, but since, you know, I'm not an admin in this league, I can, you know, talk about this team as much as I want without, you know, having to talk about other people's teams in the same video. I wanted to do something like this for the PASL, but we needed to do a full draft review, but yeah, anyway. I'm excited to see how this team does. I'm excited to play on the 3DS too. Like, I'm really excited about that. I've never, you know, done too much Wi-Fi battling on a 3DS, so playing at level 50 is gonna be a little bit weird. I'm gonna have to get used to EV spreads and stuff, like how to figure that all out. But I'm excited for the challenge. It's different for me, and I'm ready to take this league by storm. It's an established league that I've never been a part of, and I'm ready to win it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. My friends, peace out.